Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the All Aussie Rules podcast. My name is Jay. We're back for episode 6, which is going to be our round 1 wrap up for everything that happened in round 1 of the AFL 2024 season. As you can see on the screen, or if you're not watching the screen and just listening, tonight's episode is going to include a little look at the latest news in AFL. We'll then look at my tips from last week. How did I fare? Who knows? And then we'll have a wrap-up of each game from round 1. And we will finish this episode with a quick look at the leaderboards that I have for my awards that I'm running. Which the two we'll look at today is the MVP voting, which is just my top players each week. And we'll also have a look at my predicted Brownlow, which is me selecting what I think will be the Brownlow votes for each match. Not necessarily who I think was the best players, but who I think the umpires will vote for, in my opinion. So we'll go with that and see how we go. So starting off with the latest news, if you're living under a rock, 19th team is coming to AFL tonight, depends when you're listening, maybe yesterday. The team colours, team logo and team mascot were all revealed. No massive surprise, it's going to be the Tasmania Devils wearing their famous colours and looks like the famous map on their top. Exciting times for that. Head over to tasmaniafc.com to pick up your foundation memberships. I've got mine. Get involved in what will be the 19th AFL team. Next we will have a look through the match review panel's findings from the weekend. First up we have James Sicily got offered a week, which they're going to fight, and they should fight, because I don't see in a watch universe that is a 1 week suspension, but whatever. So he's fighting that. Hopefully he gets off. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer or an expert, but I just don't understand it. It's a shocking decision in my opinion. Also from that game, Mason Redman has been offered a week, and I believe Essendon are accepting that one and taking it, so Mason Redman will not be playing this weekend. There's a lot of fines about Malcolm Rose's Jr. for Gold Coast. He's been offered 1 week for a headbutt. I'm not 100% certain if they've taken that or if they're challenging it. He definitely headbutted though, so I can't see him getting off that one, but we shall see. Bulldogs game, James Harms got a 1 week offer as well for headbutting ex-teammate Stephen May. And then just lots of fines throughout the rest of the games, including Harley Reid on debut got a fine for careless contact with an umpire. So that's a look at everything from the match review. We will now move in and have a look at how my tips went for week 1. So round 1, game 1, we went Carlton by 31. Well, we got Carlton right. Was a lot closer than that, ended up being much closer than that, but got that one correct nonetheless. Friday night we went Collingwood by 13. Collingwood got pumped by 32, so that's a cross. Essendon by 5 over Hawthorn. It was a little bit more comfortable than 5 points in the end, but it was an Essendon win nonetheless by 24. GWS we had by 50, they won by 39, so pretty close on that one. We went Geelong by 7, and it was Geelong by 8, so we'll take that one. That one was very close by us, good call. We then had Gold Coast by 6 over Adelaide. No, we had Gold Coast by 15, over Adelaide, and Gold Coast won by 6, so that's another tick. We had Melbourne by 27, and they beat the Bulldogs by 45. Port Adelaide we had by 61 over West Coast, and they won by 50, so that's another tick. And then the final game, we went Brisbane by 7, and it was Fremantle by 23. So we ended with 7 out of 9. So not a terrible week. You can accept probably both the ones that we got wrong. We were just plain wrong. That's fine. 7 out of 9, not the worst. I think we got 2 or 3 the first week, so we're travelling at about 9 out of 13 so far. Not the worst. We'll keep fighting. Hopefully get better. So now we'll have a run through of each match from the weekend. We had where am I? First game was Thursday night. Carlton Richmond at the MCG. First game in Melbourne for the year. It was touted as Carlton should win this comfortably, and they certainly did not do that. As you can see, it was pretty even most of the day. Richmond were in front a lot of it. Carlton also had their fair share in front. In the end, though, Richmond just couldn't put the score on the board in that last quarter, only kicking 1 goal to Carlton's 3, and lost by 5 points. So pretty crucial last quarter, and Carlton just overran them. Maybe that's the legs of the fresher legs, I don't know. Obviously Richmond had at least 3 key players come in. They also had some injuries, so it's hard to blame them for not running the game out well. Harry Mackay kicked 3 again, so he's had a great start to the year. Bolter was huge, kicking 3 and having plenty of. Lynch and Martin, both in their first games of the year, kicked 2 goals apiece. As you can see, I have my best 5 players there for each team, so that determines the MVP voting that I'm going to be showing later. So the way my voting is going to work is the best player on the winning team gets 10, second best gets 8, third 6, fourth 4, and fifth 2, and then for the losing team, the best player gets 5, second best gets 4, third best gets 3, fourth gets 2, fifth best gets 1. And then down the bottom you can see my 3, 2, 1 for my predicted Brownlow. I went Bolter. I think he was huge, and I mean, umpires probably will see Paddy Cripps as on top, but I think Bolter deserves it, to be honest. Paddy Cripps had second, and Mitch McGovern was huge across backline for Carlton in this one. Moving on to the second game of the week, which was Friday night, once again at the MCG. Collingwood hosting Sydney, and first quarter was Sydney were definitely in front, on top, not in front. Collingwood were leading by a point. Sydney were on top, just didn't make use of their chances. But after quarter time, it was just pretty much one-way traffic. Sydney looked very, very good. Collingwood looked pretty average. It's not all doom and gloom for Collingwood. I think they just got to tidy up their disposal. They were very poor with their disposal, turned it over a lot, which led to a lot of easy goals for Sydney throughout the night. But Sydney are definitely looking like one of the main hopes at the moment after round 1. Schultz got 2, Elliott 2 for Collingwood, whereas for Sydney, McDonald kicked 4. Chad Warner was massive with 3 goals and a lot of the ball. Isaac Heaney was huge again with 2 goals. As you can see, Collingwood, Nick Dacos, I think he had 37 touches, a lot of clearances, a lot of good ball, kicked a goal. I think he was their best player. The votes, though, I can't see them going away from Warner, Heaney and Goulden, who returned to form. So I think those 3 get it, and I think it should be in that order based on what I saw on Friday nights. We moved on to Saturday, and the first game for both Essendon and Hawthorn, the MCG. Essendon went into this as favourites and got the win. Hawthorn wasted a lot of opportunities, kicking 11 goals, 17, which is never ideal. Probably didn't help their chances. I think Essendon were probably the better team on the day, but maybe not by the 24-point margin. Stringer was very good. He had 12 touches for 4 goals. Langford kicked 3. 2 metre Peter got 2. Archie Perkins, I think, was best on. He kicked 2. He played very well. And Guelphy also got 2 for Hawthorn. Moore kicked 3. Ginnivan had a very good first half. I think he had 14 touches and a couple goals. Didn't do much in the second half, but first game for the Hawks. Shell kicked 2. As I said, I think Archie Perkins was best on. I think Zach Merritt will probably get the 3 votes. Archie Perkins 2. And D'Ambrosio getting 1 for the Hawthorn Football Club. Takes from this game, I don't think either of these teams are going to be top 4 chances. I think it'd be a bit of a stretch to see either of them making the 8 from what I've seen so far, but you never know. Like, football is a pretty close game. Get a couple of good results, go your way, and all of a sudden confidence and wins, and you never know. But I would imagine Essendon will probably just be outside the 8, and I think Hawthorn will probably be down towards the bottom 5 is my prediction. We then had the GWS hosting North Melbourne, which GWS obviously dominated 17-19 to 13-4, so they just dominated. Probably should have won by more than they did, but at the same time they had every advantage. They've had 2 games at their home ground to start the year. They had extra run in their legs because they played last week, whereas North Melbourne didn't. So I think for North Melbourne to get within 39 points is a massive result for them. They were very competitive. Granted, they kicked straight and GWS didn't. If GWS had a kick like that last week, they may not be 2-0, but they chose the right week to kick inaccurately. Jesse Hogan kicked 6, which was massive. He's had a great start to the year and is leading the Coleman. Riccardi kicked 3, Kelly 2, Cadman got another 2 this week. Brown kicked 2 as well for North Melbourne. Larkey got his 3. Stevenson, Dersma, Curtis all kicked 2. I think Harry Sheasel was massive for North Melbourne. He's looking on track for a massive year this year. He was very good in his first year. I think he showed a lot in the pre-season and showed again on Saturday that he's a very, very talented player. I think Tom Green was best on ground though. Jesse Hogan kicked 6, so obviously he was very good. Josh Kelly got a lot of it. Caniglio got a lot of it. My votes, I went Tom Green on top. I went Josh Kelly second. And I don't think you can go past Harry Sheasel, even though they got beaten comprehensively. He had a lot of it and was very good. So I have him picking up a vote there. We go to Saturday night football, and we had another game where neither team had played. First look at both Geelong and St Kilda. Geelong down at their home ground. Pretty even game most of the way. I mean, Geelong were in front most of the way, but it was only a couple goal margin. And then we had an extraordinary finish, really, because Geelong kicked out by 4 goals just about with 10 minutes to go. Then St Kilda all of a sudden kicked multiple goals in a row, got it back within a point, looked like they were going to be a chance, and then Dangerfield in the last minute kicked a goal from 50 just to seal it and get the win by 8 points. Both teams kicked inaccurately. Dempsey was good with 3, Cameron kicked 2, including a very good one from the boundary right on half-time, I think it was. Membry kicked, or was it quarter time? I don't know, one or the other. Membry kicked 3, Wilson 2, King 2 votes. I think Dangerfield gets the 3. It was a very hard game to judge, I think, who was best player, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the umpires think on this one. Holmes I had up there, and Marshall I gave 2 votes for St Kilda. I think he was very good in the middle. The other Saturday night game was Gold Coast in their second match of the year hosting Adelaide, who were playing their first. And for most of the night it looked like that, with Gold Coast looking the better team in the pouring rain. Absolutely pelted down there for bits of this match. The first half pretty much had this result almost certain, with Gold Coast leading 34-8 at half time. And up until the last few minutes of the match, it looked like Gold Coast were comfortable, and then Adelaide kicked 5 last quarter goals, got within a kick, and probably just ran out of time because they were definitely running over the top of them late. So a big result from Adelaide. I think that's being on the road against Gold Coast in the pouring rain when Gold Coast played the week before and Adelaide hadn't. I think everything went against them and they nearly got the win. Unfortunately, nearly getting a few wins is what cost them finals berth last year, so hopefully this isn't the tale of that again for them, but we shall see in the coming weeks. I think that match will put them in good stead though in the weeks coming forward. Rochelle kicked 3, Rankin 2, Keys 2, Roseas 2, and Ainsworth 2. Tuik Miller was huge out of the middle, as was Noah Anderson. Matt Rowell was very good again for the second week in a row. For Adelaide, it was the big names in the midfield, as well as Rochelle with 3 that were the important players. My votes, I went to Miller 3, Rory Laird 2, and Matt Rowell 1 vote. We then move on to the Sunday games, and first up was Melbourne in their second game of the year, hosting the Western Bulldogs at the MCG. First quarter was pretty evenly contested, and then from then on it was Melbourne kicking away comfortably. I think they won the second quarter by a couple of goals, they won the third quarter by a goal, and they won the last quarter by 4 to end up winning by 45, which is probably slightly more than I thought it was going to be, but Melbourne outclassed them there at the end, which they had played the week before, so they've probably had the better run in their legs. Clayton Oliver had a lot of it. I think he had 30 something touches in the third quarter. I think he only ended with 35, but was very good. Van Rooyen kicked 3, Chandler 3, Pickett 2, Neil Bullen 2, Ben Brown 2. For the Bulldogs, the only multiple goal scorer was Ugle Hagen. I think Petrarca, even though he had slightly less of it than Clayton Oliver, I think he was the best player on the ground. Max Gawn was huge. And for the Bulldogs, Liver was massive. Bont was very good. Not quite good enough to get him into the game, but was very good. I went Petrarca 3, Oliver 2, and Liver 1 vote. The second last match of round 1 was Port Adelaide hosting West Coast Eagles at Adelaide Oval. We expected Port Adelaide to win this comfortably. I think West Coast were pretty competitive, which is probably all they can hope for most of this year, especially when on the road in Adelaide Oval against a team that finished the ladder on in the top 4 last year. So I think to only lose by 50, which doesn't sound great, isn't too bad. Granted, Port Adelaide kicked 7 goals, 14 in the second half. So if they kick a little bit straighter there, then there might have been 80 odd point margin, but a solid result nonetheless. Charlie Dixon kicked 3. They had a lot of multiple goal kickers with Asoldo, Rose, Horn Francis, Farrell, and Drew all kicking 2. Rose was massive, Butters was good, Horn Francis was also good, as was Dan Houston. I don't know. I think Dan Houston's going to be unlucky and probably miss out on votes in this one. I think he was very good. And Ryan Burton got a lot of metres gained, which was huge for the team. West Coast were solid, nothing outstanding. Harley Reid in his first game was solid. I think he had 15 or so touches. Certainly wasn't their worst performer. He'll be better for the run. We'll see how he goes next week. match number 9, we have Fremantle versus Brisbane. Fremantle hosting Brisbane, and surprisingly, this is the first game that kind of goes against what we kind of expected in terms of the team that had played the last week doing all right. So Brisbane came out first quarter just like last week, looked really good, kicked the first 4 goals, I believe, before Fremantle kicked the next 9 or so. Were comfortably in front at halftime after conceding the first 4, which is crazy. Third quarter, Fremantle extended their lead, and then final quarter, Brisbane brought it back a little bit, but nowhere near enough, and ended up losing by 23 points. Amis kicked 4, he was very good. Tracy kicked 3, Jackson 2, and then for Brisbane, Hipwood kicked 3, which 2 of them were in the first 2 goals of the game. Danaher also kicked 3, Zach Bailey kicked 2, and then my votes, I went Sarong best on, I went Ryan for 2, and I went Brayshaw for 1, and that is the final game of the week. My thoughts on those games were that crazy that both grand finalists from last year have started 0-2. Yeah, they had a short pre-season, yeah, but not great signs for either team. I don't think it's the end of the world for either. I think Brisbane probably should have beaten Carlton, and then they had a tough trip over to Perth, so to be 1-1 would have been what probably was expected of them. They're not that, they're 0-2, but I mean, they've still got 21 games left this season. It's going to be interesting going forward over the next couple of weeks. They obviously have a bye this week. Before round 3, they play Collingwood in the traditional Easter Thursday match, so all of a sudden going into that is a massive game for both teams. Currently 0-2, Brisbane will definitely be 0-2 going into that one. Collingwood have a chance to get a win this weekend and make it 1-2, but could be 0-3 the way they're playing, so that will be a massive game. You'd think the loser of that one may be very much against it going forward. Other things to note from the week, Sydney I thought were huge. They're going to be looking good this year. Richmond were much improved on their first outing, so that was a positive for them. I think St Kilda were the better of this St Kilda Geelong, or the more convincing for the season long out of that one. I want to see Adelaide go again. I think they were good. I think they will be good this year, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Melbourne bounced back, which was a good result for them. Port Adelaide, I want to see them against somebody other than West Coast before I make an informed decision about that. And I think Fremantle probably the result of the week. I think even though it is in Perth, Brisbane would have been pretty fired up after losing to Carlton the way they did the first week, and to get that result, I think that's almost the best performance of the week in my opinion. We'll have a quick look at my votes. I don't have a graphic, so we're just going to read out what I have after, I was about to say week 2. I guess it is week 2, round 1. Obviously some teams have played 2 games, so those players are going to be up on top. Of the ones that have scored more than 3 votes, I have Took Miller and Josh Kelly and Isaac Heaney, all with 5, and then I have Matt Rowell with 4, and then there's a whole bunch. This is in the Brownlow voting with 3, including George Hewitt, Noel Balto, Chad Warner, Zach Merritt, Tom Green, Patrick Dangerfield, Christian Petraka, Rose and Sarong, and then obviously there's lots of 2s and 1s as well. And then if we have a quick look at my MVP voting, at the moment I have Isaac Heaney leading that with 18, Matt Rao and Miller and Kelly all with 16, and then I have Mackay and McGovern with 14, Anderson, Tom Green, Petraka, Warner with 12, Hewitt, Nick Dacos, Archie Perkins and Paddy Dangerfield with 10. So I'm going to keep track of that all year to see who's the best in terms of MVP, and we'll keep a track on my expected Brownlow, see how that goes for the year, and then at the end of the year we'll be able to compare with actually how I went compared to what the umpires thought. So yeah, that's the round 1 wrap. Going forward, as per usual, we'll have another episode which will come out either Wednesday night or Thursday morning for the round 2 preview. We'll preview the games, we will do my power rankings, and we'll just have a look at the weekend ahead. And then once again back next Monday / Tuesday for the round 2 wrap, which will be episode 8. But yeah, that's everything I have to say. You can see my socials below. I have a Twitter /X, I have an Instagram. You can find this on YouTube, you can find it on Spotify. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Onwards and upwards from here. Let me know what you think, what I can do to improve. We're here to talk footy and only footy. I don't care about all the hoopla that the media do. We're here to look at the footy games. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll possibly in the coming weeks might do a live stream to YouTube of me watching a game and maybe have a chat with people, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.